Morning students, topic for today is upthrust. When a body is partially or wholly immersed in a liquid, an upward force acts on it. This upward force is known as upthrust or buoyant force. You can look here in the figure. A stone is immersed in water. The down force acting is weight, and against which the force acting is known as upthrust. So what upthrust is really? Upthrust is a force that exists only in fluids such as lakes, oceans, swimming pools, and even cups of tea. It is a push that always goes straight up against the direction of gravity. Generally, what are fluids? Fluid comprises of gases and liquids. The term fluid has come from the property of fluidity, which means something that can flow. Upthrust is the upward force exerted on a body by the fluid in which it is submerged. It is also known as buoyant force. The property of the liquid to exert an upward force on a body immersed in it is called buoyancy. What if when we push an empty can into water? If we push an empty can by closing its mouth with an airtight stopper, we put it in a tub filled with water. It floats with a large portion of it above the surface of water and only a small portion of it below the surface of water. If we push the can into water, we feel an upward force which opposes the push, and we find it difficult to push the can further into water. It is also noticed that as the can is pushed more and more into water, more and more force is needed to push the can further into water till it is completely immersed. When the can is fully inside the water, a constant force is still needed to keep it stationary in that position. It is the maximum upthrust on the can. Now, if the can is released at this position, it is noticed that the can bounces back on the surface of water and starts floating again. The SI unit of upthrust is Newton, as upthrust is a force. It is also known as buoyant force. The property of liquid to exert an upward force on a body immersed in it is called buoyancy. Something interesting right here. Upthrust is always equal to the weight of liquid displaced by the object. If upthrust is less than the weight of the object, surely the object will sink. In the other case, if upthrust is greater than the weight of the object will float. Let us come to the characteristic properties of upthrust. The very first property says, larger the volume of body submerged in a fluid, greater is the upthrust. For the same volume inside the fluid, more the density of liquid or fluid, greater is the upthrust. The upthrust acts on a body in upward direction at the center of buoyancy. Here comes a term, center of buoyancy. What does it mean? It means the center of gravity of displaced fluid. Now comes the reason for upthrust. The pressure in a liquid is same in all the direction, whether it is upwards, downwards, or sideways. It increases with the depth inside the liquid. The difference in pressures due to the liquid on the two faces of given immersed object causes a net force upward on the object, and this upward force is known as upthrust. Now let us come to the formula of upthrust. The formula of upthrust is equal to VdG, where V refers to the volume of the solid immersed, D refers to the density of liquid, and G refers to the acceleration due to gravity. Here comes the factors that affect the upthrust. The very first factor says the volume of body submerged in the fluid. Second factor talks about the density of liquid. Let us now have an animation to observe the same.
Factors affecting buoyancy. Magnitude of buoyant force acting on an object immersed in liquid depends on two factors: density of the liquid, volume of the object immersed in the liquid. Buoyancy depends on the density of the liquid. Let us do an experiment to prove this. Take 3 glasses of water. Water level in each glass should be the same. Drop an egg in the first glass. Here, density of water is less, so it exerts less buoyant force. Hence, egg will sink and settle in the bottom of the glass. Now in the second glass, add 2 tablespoons of salt and mix it well. Put the same egg from first glass to the second glass. Here, egg does not sink. It just rises up. Now add 4 tablespoons of salt in the third glass and mix it well. And drop the same egg into the glass 3. Now the egg will rise further. What can we conclude here? We increase the density of the water by adding salt. So the buoyant force exerted by the water increases. So from the bottom, egg will rise up in the water. That is, when the density of the liquid increases, buoyant force exerted by the liquid increases. Hence, we can conclude that buoyant force depends on the density of the liquid. We will now see how the buoyant force depends on the volume of the object immersed in liquid. As we can see here, when we drop a metal rod into the water, it will sink and the water level in the beaker will rise. The volume of the water in the beaker raised is equal to the volume of the object immersed. Suppose instead of metal rod, an iceberg is dropped into water. It floats and the volume of water rises. Here, the volume of water raised is equal to the volume of iceberg submerged in water. Hence, we can say the magnitude of the buoyant force depends on the volume of the object immersed in the liquid.
Archimedes' principle states that when a body is immersed partially or completely in a liquid, it experiences an upthrust which is equal to the weight of liquid displaced by it. For the demonstration, we have taken a Eureka can filled with water up till its spout. Now we are immersing a stone that is a load inside it. Before immersing, we can calculate the weight of the stone in air with the help of a spring balance. As and when we immerse the stone inside the Eureka can, the level of water rises and the same comes out from the spout and is collected in a beaker. Now let us study more about Archimedes' principles through a video.
Say you have a beaker filled with water and you put your index finger inside it. You'll observe that the water level rises slightly. You put in 2 fingers, the water level rises a bit more. And now when you put in your hand up to the wrist level, you'll see that the water level increases significantly. The ancient Greek mathematician Archimedes observed something similar when he got into a bathtub. When he got in, he realized that the level of water went up. In both the cases, you notice that the water is displaced by the object that goes in. Keep this thought in mind. We'll come back to it soon. In our previous videos, we've seen that when an object is placed in or on the fluid exerts a buoyant force on it which acts upwards. The Archimedes principle goes just one step further in saying that the buoyant force applied by the fluid is equal to the weight of the displaced fluid. We can take a simple example to understand this. Take a 5 kg solid object and suspend it by a spring balance. The balance will read 5 kilograms. Let this be the first case. For the second case, take a beaker of water which has a small opening at the top. The water in the beaker is filled right up to this point where the opening is. And we keep a small container under the opening. Now slowly lower the solid object into the water and you'll see that the reading will be lower number as compared to the previous case. Why is that? It's because of the buoyant force acting on the object. You'd have also noticed that some water was displaced. Now in this context, we can say that the weight of this displaced water is equal to the magnitude of the buoyant force acting on the object. That's the Archimedes principle. When an object is immersed fully or partially in a fluid, the upward force applied by the fluid on the object is the same as the weight of the fluid displaced by the object. Where is this principle applied? Can you think of examples? How do you think large steel ships float? It's simple. If the weight of water displaced by the vessel below the keel is equivalent to the vessel's weight, then everything above the keel will remain afloat. That's because the water too applies an upward buoyant force on the ship, which is same as the weight of the water displaced by it.
Demonstration of Archimedes principle. Archimedes principle says that the weight of water displaced should be equal to the upthrust. For the demonstration, we have taken a solid such as a ball. To measure its weight in air, we have taken a spring balance. We will leave the weight tied to a thread in a spring balance. By this process, we can note the weight of the solid in air. If I count, it is coming 23 gram force. So let us put the weight of solid in air is 23 gram force. For the second step, we will immerse the same solid inside the water that is placed in a Eureka can. Eureka can is taken so that when the solid is dipped inside the water, some water comes out, the liquid displaced by the solid inside the measuring cylinder from an opening which is known as spout. As in I disperse the solid, some water jumps out into the measuring cylinder. We will note the amount of water displaced and the loss in the weight. I can notice here the weight has been reduced by 20 gram force. So the weight in air is 23, whereas the weight in water is 20 gram force. Now loss in weight, it is weight in air minus weight in water, that is 23 minus 20, that is equal to 3 gram force. Now let us measure the volume of liquid displaced. The volume of liquid displaced is exactly 3 centimeter cube. 3 centimeter cube. As we know, the density of water is 1 gram per centimeter cube. So the weight of liquid displaced or the loss in weight 3 gram force equals to 3 centimeter cube, as the density of water is 1 gram per centimeter cube. So this can also be written as 3 gram force. This verifies the Archimedes